Hello, this is Father, and I have an alternative reading today for educational and entertainment purposes only. Uh, I started reworking out my liquidity zones, and I was over here trying to decide whether or not I counted these just as pass-throughs or if they had some working in there or not. And I was kind of like half yes, half no, because otherwise it's like, okay, you got, you know, I, I would say there was nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. And then I started coming over and I was like, nothing here. And then nothing here, nothing here. But then Friday we had all this activity there. And as you can see, I drew up the range. I was like, oh, what if this is accumulation? In my, because in my previous video, I was thinking there was uh, a buying climax that was up higher. And then I started like looking at it closer today, thinking, let's just see what what that would look like. And then I seen this, and I was like, well, that looks like a PSY, pretty heavy one, buying climax, and our strength test. That makes more sense because in my previous video, I had the strength test going over the buying climax, which wouldn't happen. And I was like, okay, so that was a misread, I think. And then I started looking at like, oh well, we haven't broke any of the rules here. We haven't went past the strength test and the buying climax and came back down, right? And I was like, okay, so what would it look like Monday? And what we would see is it would come up to about 1822, then drop back down to 1767 ish area, and this would be the zone. It could do some back and forth in here and then take off, but this would totally make sense. And then I was like, when I was looking at the other liquidity zones, I was like, okay, let's take it care of. And it goes all the way up to the 20s. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I miss this? Are we actually starting? And I missed it because it would follow around with my original thesis that we would kind of curve around and, and do this thing, do this movement going up into uh, the higher areas. So I don't know. I'm actually leaning more towards this. This would be a huge jump. We would have a new range up here. Would look pretty much like this. Would only a day, and this could happen really quick. Um, and I just wanted to kind of show what that would look like. So seemingly like it would do the same thing, right? We'll just say that it likes to do this pattern, that it would come up above this area here, and this part would probably be a little bit larger. It probably would do something very similar in here, but it may be longer in here. Uh, uh, but it'll come up over it and then turn around and come back down it and start playing. And it may play in there for the rest of the week. But if it looks like accumulation, because it's a bigger area, and this one didn't need much work. I mean, that's the next liquidity zone, and then we'll jump out further. Then the next stop is in the 27 area. So in 2 weeks, we could be up in the 27 areas getting ready to really take off. I think it's a real big possibility uh, that I just somehow overlooked. Um, and it was just because I had to redo my liquidity areas. So I'm glad I was forced into doing that because when I was like pulling that one across, I was like, "Whoa, wait, we just did that one, so that one's no longer a liquidity zone." So the only thing we have is up and down, right? And I know I've my previous version I did the down, but I really think this is a possibility. Here, give me a quick second too to kind of show you how I'm kind of looking at it uh, as a possibility. Um, let's see here. Sorry, it's taking me a second. Wanted to be able to pull this up without any issues, but there's always issues, right? And you can also find this on tradewyckoff.com once I get it pulled up. Geez, sorry about the delay here. It's probably just gonna pop up a weird group. This is what I get for not being more active or more um, ready with what I'm going to show. Anyway, so as you can see, like when it comes down to the selling climax thing, it would normally have a reaction in a range, right? And then break down below it. But in our case, the range has been pretty well exhausted as far as like having to do much within the range. So it could be just a quick pass through accumulation on our way up. It's just accumulating and with the full intent of taking off up to the 20s to start accumulating more here before moving on. This is a very big possibility, and I wanted to make sure that this alternative thesis was out there before Monday started and people understood it. So I'm looking at this being our PSY, not Friday's micro thing. Even though this is still, um, it has all the movements. Ultimately, it has the buying climax, comes all the way down here to sell off, selling climax, comes up for a show of strength. At the end, the show of weakness is not present. It doesn't come all the way back down to tap into that area. It stops it here, and then it skips phase C. I mean, phase B is very short. Maybe it'll stay in this range and we'll build up a little bit more, but I think it's going to be like this is actually whoops, sorry. I don't know where to draw it. Uh, uh, that this is phase the end of phase B already, and we moved on Friday. This push up was uh, heading into a non-spring phase C, and then this would be phase D taken off in accumulation. And I think it's a strong possibility that we won't see any more down. I was kind of surprised when I noticed this, and I was like, wow, talk about overlooking this, and like this was the big payoff, and that's why they did it after hours. Most of the stuff that was required for the finish this was to make this look more. I mean, it's almost like if you took it on this minor range here, and this was the buying climax, and then it took off and caught here, and this was the initial accumulation thing. Then this would be the new buying climax, which wouldn't break any of our rules either, and this would be our strength test, and we would just be coming out of it. So yeah, everything like fits on the micro and the macro of accumulation. Monday will be a deciding factor. If we see this come up and then come back down for just a retest and then take off, it's on. It's on, and yeah, I mean, this is a very. I think I give this more like a 80% read compared to my previous video from yesterday. I've just been dwelling on this since I found the liquidity thing, and I'm like, okay, so what does that mean for us? That means like this was our down, and this was the turnaround. This was the spot. This was uh, it. Yeah. So, and you can almost, you almost count it as like, yeah, this would be like where it caught the distribution and changed trajectory. It completely works as a possibility. Both are possibilities, but um, my gut says that this is more likely, and I don't think we'd run like crazy, but going up to $22 would be pretty exciting, and it would also make people feel like like, oh yeah, I'm not too excited. I was just at 21 not too long ago, but oh my gosh, this could be a major deal Monday. So and it'll, oh my gosh, earnings is coming up on the third. Oh my god, this would work perfect with earnings. It gets up here and it plays here, and then after earnings it runs up to 20 28. Oh my gosh, I really think with the earnings coming up on the third, this is a very very strong possibility that it'll run a pattern and here until the third. It says the second, but I think that's after hours on the second. Is it earnings? Oh, they changed it to March 1st. Yeah, that is definitely in the possibilities. March 1st. Well, that's like Tuesday. So that technically they could do this in a day, just like they did this last one in a day. They could run it up, play it all day, and then after earnings the next day run it up to 28. My God, that would be very dramatic. So yeah, those that are following me, please keep this in mind. Please watch this alternative view or share it with some people as a distinct possibility. Like it could be on. I mean, like after 27, we go up to the 30s, and after the 30s, we pretty much jump to 60. So, whew. Anyway, that's all I have. Toodaloo. Toodaloo, everybody.